And today,
we are in Skagway, Alaska.
let's turn this around. There it is. I'm going to zoom in a little. The whole town is just a few blocks, like right in there. Of course, those are boats, but through those trees, the town begins. What do we do today, Janet?
Today we rode the, what's it called? The White Plain?
Pass.
White Pass Railroad.
And Yukon.
It went
White
up
Pass
about
to
20
Yukon.
miles, crossed
Yeah.
the border, and then turned around.
So it went up to that far valley you can see, and then some. And that was kind of the problem with it. It was cloudy and rainy all day, and you couldn't really see anything. I mean, you could see a lot, but not like you want to see, you know?
And the windows kept fogging up, and it was wet and cold.
So far in this cruise, only Hubbard Glacier was clear and sunny. Everything else was cold and wet. You could see on the top of that mountain right there,
There's a little bit of snow.
a little bit of snow left from, I don't know, whenever. Let's see if I can get there. See it? A couple little spots. And further up,
There's a waterfall.
further up, there'll be more. I mean, it's Alaska. So we're just gonna stroll around. They've just lifted the last tender up, the last lifeboat. So I think we're gonna cast off pretty soon. Only visited like 17 or 18 states. Janet's been in a lot more than I have. So I'm gonna try to walk this way again and see if it stays in. Look at the mist out there on the mountains. Makes you think of Led Zeppelin, huh? You know, Misty Mountain Hop. Okay. Type it into your listening device.
Day out in Skagway today, and now back on board where it's warmer and a lot drier.
Our cruise director's talking, and the
Now we're ready
speaker is
for a
right there.
entertainment, so here are your highlights. At 7:30 and 9:30, we welcome you to the Princess Theatre for
We'll listen to him.
Showtime.
We're going to go out that way,
Join
though.
the vocal instrumentalist Dan Delgado.
And the Discovery Princess was right here behind us, but it left already.
With our wonderful trumpeter as he celebrates the music of Louis Armstrong to Herb Albert and everything in between. Taking place in the Princess Theatre tonight. At 8:30, join the onboard activities team and their
It's loud, huh?
game show, Can You Survive? Do you have what it takes to survive out in Alaska? Well, then join your fellow guests and find out tonight in the Explorers Lounge, Deck 7 Mention. Also at 8:30, it's time to get
Janet Cam.
and celebrate tonight's live tribute to lights and music.
Back.
Join Ocean Club
Oh.
to move those hips and get that in.
Thank you, William.
Deck 7 at the back of the ship.
Oh, excuse me.
While enjoying the entertainment and live music around the ship, whatever you choose to do, from me, Gary, your cruise director, have a superb evening here on board the Crown Princess.
So if you get Alaska news or cruise news, well, we'll come to that. Let's see, the ropes, they are still on. And there's not even anybody there to unleash them. There was a minute ago. Anyway, Skagway has always had people paint these rocks. Graffiti on the rocks, but it's cruise ship graffiti. See that? Like Rhapsody of the Seas. There's a Celebrity X down there. See that?
Princess.
Little princess one. Although, is that just a wooden sign?
It looks like it.
Anyway, a year or so ago, I think it was, there was a landslide here. We're going to walk by it in a minute. And there they are, waiting to cast off. Oh, they're loosening the ropes. See the slack? Oh. And they drop them in the water, and then somebody winds them up. Somebody on board. Electrically, you know, a big pulley. Look how thick those ropes are. They're like anacondas. Anyway, let's continue on because they got a lot to go. There's at least a dozen ropes. Maybe. So, you see more graffiti there? Cruise ship graffiti. Well, now over here people have just written their names or something, along with the cruise ships. So that's part of the railroad, or railroad engines or whatever. Oh.
Hello, welcome to Vietnam.
Hello, Terrell.
Oi do Brasil.
Brazil? We haven't been to Brazil. We've been close. Montevideo, Buenos Aires, but never Brazil. All right, we're under the lifeboats now, right? They didn't use these because they couldn't lower them. They don't lower them onto the land. But you see, there's still people up there casting off ropes.
There's the landslide.
Wait. All right, Janet's going to tell you all about this and what the deal is. We're being watched. There it is. Now, I'm going to guess it was worse and it's been straightened up a bit.
See this where it collapsed over here?
She's talking about that. So it tore up part of the dock. And I guess for a few weeks or months, ships didn't come here even because of it. And then they started dropping anchor out in the bay there and using tender boats. We had to tender, water shuttle. Even though we're docked, we water shuttled out of the other side because they didn't want people on the dock in the construction zone. There. So, I believe, let's go out a little further, that it started way up there. Now I've got this all the way up. Let's see if I can tilt it.
As you can see, the trees knocked down. So
Good.
it started up there. Okay.
So if you do a quick figuring in your head, that's not everything that came down.
Right, it was out here.
Somebody's cleaned it up and then built this wall around it. And they said today, oh, we're pulling away now. They said today that Sun Princess, Island Princess, that they're building a new dock, a new, bigger dock to handle more ships, like Skagway needs more ships. But, and then here's the traditional ship graffiti. And there's a lot of it. It goes all the way down. Oh, there's another landslide too. So, I guess there was two. And these guys are bailing. They threw the ropes off. Skagway, they told us, has about 1,000 year-round residents. So it's a small town. Some of the towns we visited in Norway a few weeks ago had 200 or 300 permanent residents. But it was a cruise ship stop.
Wow.
Yeah, see that? Let me zoom in a little.
Wrong. I don't think that's what they were worried about.
Well, let's go down there. Can you read those signs? Let's see some of them.
Captain B. Clark, happy retirement, August 2nd. And I don't know what year.
There's a Royal Caribbean one.
1986.
Volendam.
Sun Princess, Island Princess.
That's Holland America. I see a Norwegian Bliss. Besides Sitka, Skagway is my favorite Alaskan port. Cool. We like it. We were here a couple of years ago, and we hiked up in these mountains to Dewey Lake, and then we came back into town and walked up to the Gold Rush Cemetery. You know, it's got a bunch of the old graves for the miners that didn't make it. Today, of course, like I said, we took the train up there. You know, sort of the same path that the miners took back in 1898, 99, and so on. And they had to carry 1,000 pounds of food into Canada. And once they got to White Pass, it was another 600 miles. But they usually sailed, they built a boat and sailed on the Yukon River. Most people failed miserably. You know, they didn't know what they were doing. They just heard gold and ran for it. So a lot of people died. A lot of people wasted a lot of money. Remember, we're backing out, and that's the back of the boat. So we're going to back and we're going to spin. You know, it's 180. So I hadn't noticed this part before. I only saw that one. So we're going up these stairs because to get around on the ship, if you'll remember, if you were with us before, you have to go from deck 7 to deck 8. See, now we're on Emerald Deck 8. And this is crew area in these windows, and the theater's in there. So I imagine there was quite a mess there. 'Cause that's a few metric tons of dirt, right? You can see a hole up there. It's a hole. And, you know, there was a pile of trees, right? Because that's a thick forest on each side. And I imagine it was there. You see the deck is all wet. So I'm trying to walk carefully. Somebody's in that office. Sitting at a computer. I'm not going to show them, but see, that's crew stuff. People's offices. There are fitness centers in there, but we said all that. You could just see a yellow onion dome of a church. Remember, this was Russian previously. Russia owned this. Seward's Folly. There, see the dome? I'll put it in the middle. I don't know the name of the church, but that's the White Pass is way up there. So that's where the train goes. A train like that. Whoop, like that. Although that's all engines, right? So now we're at the very front of the boat. Ship.
And it's 47 degrees.
Yeah, it's a little cold, and I'm in short sleeves. We're getting ready to go to dinner.
You can see snow up on the mountains
Oh,
right
yeah,
here
there's.
and there.
See? And if you've been with us every day, I mentioned a couple of days ago at least, or maybe yesterday, that I think it snowed on these mountains while we've been on this cruise.
Just a dusting at night.
Because when we entered Yakutat Bay, anyway, when we entered it, look at that. Isn't that scenic? Isn't that a beautiful photo? Click. Okay. I've already taken 5 of them. When we entered Yakutat Bay, well, I get distracted easily, don't I?
You do.
All the mountains were white. All the mountains were white. When we left, hey, Jules, when we left, they weren't. They were only white on top. So whatever fell, whatever snow made them white, melted almost immediately when the sun came up. Remember, Hubbard Glacier was sunny. Oh, I'm getting wet. Oh. So I believe we're gonna go this way. My fingertips would be the front of the ship right here. See, because we're moving that way. You can see it, I think. I mean, I can see it. I guess it's hard to tell. Look at the train cars. I'm gonna hold still and see how we're seeing more and more train cars right there. Wait, let's do this. Can you see? We're around. So I would have gone the other way, I think, but I'm not a ship captain, so what do I know? On maps, I've looked, and if it hadn't been rainy, we would have tried. There are trails all over there too, all up through those hills, and you can go around that inlet right there, goes up a ways. Oops. A few years ago, we stopped in a city along the way called Landslide because there was too many ships in Skagway. We're going to pass it, but we won't be with you. In fact,
It'll be dark.
that's pinwheeling again.
So from Skagway, this is Janet,
And I'm Gary.
and we'll see you in the next port.
Did you want to say bye to anyone in particular?
Bye, Ashley. Bye, Austin. Bye, Liam. Rawr.
And bye,
Jules, Hattie, Jesse, Christina,
and everybody who's with us today.
all our new friends.
I don't remember ever saying that right, but